The boys are back in town.
It's been a while since we sat down here.
Oh,
and
buddy.
did a little chat, you know?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
The chit chats haven't happened for a while, but we have been doing some other stuff. Hope you guys have been enjoying that content up on our channel there with the vlogs and the. Oh my God! What was the last thing?
The golf sesh.
The range, the simulator.
The simulator challenge.
Yes.
Golf sing. Yeah, man, that was great. Shout outs to Sook, aka the Golf Sing, for having us out to do that one. That was actually really fun, man.
Yeah, thanks for hooking us up.
Yeah, that was a good one. And the road trip vlog, we had a blast.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, that was a good one. Champ came out of it unscathed.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Had to take that jersey to enemy territory, you know?
Enemy territory. But yeah, man, it's been a while since we've done like an episode. It feels kind of great to be kind of back and doing this.
I missed this, man.
Yeah, it's it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, it's
that we've done one.
It's been a couple months.
Because you actually missed the last episode because it was just me and Jag, right?
Yeah, I did.
So
I did.
it's been extra long for him.
Yeah, I don't even know why I missed it. It's been so long.
I think the 9 to 5 got you. You're caught in the Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was literally caught in the Matrix, working overtime.
So that was it, man. But that was a good one. I think that was the NHL, not the NHL. Sorry, we did the. You don't even remember what we did.
It's been so long.
Yeah,
It's been over a month now.
I think it's been a month.
It's been a
2
while.
months almost.
But we're back. The boys are back in town.
And a lot has happened.
A lot's happened, but it's a totally different thing we're doing today since today's what? December 20th.
Yeah, we got 11 days left.
11 days left in the year. It's the holiday season, so we're doing our year-end awards. So we've got a couple of categories that we kind of, we're mulling over the last week or so, trying to come up with some stuff, and we're just gonna throw it out there. And none of us know what the other one has, so we're just gonna be reacting just like everybody.
Yeah, live reaction to each of our answers.
Live reaction, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, let's just jump right into it. Which one do you guys want to start with?
We can start with track of the year or your track of the year.
I would say your track of the year, your most played song, right? Whether it's on YouTube, on Spotify,
Yeah, those Spotify lists just came out a few weeks ago. And fortunately, my toddler had the number 2 and number 3 spot.
Your rap was hilarious, man.
Yeah. So, I couldn't take too much from that.
Your rap, this guy's rap was like, it was like
Twinkle, Twinkle,
Twinkle,
Little
Little Star and like spa music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife had a track up there too. So
nothing.
It was a little bit of everything, but my track of the year was Gareth Emery, Missing You, the Ben Gold remix. That was probably my most played, and I think that was my hottest track of the year.
Yeah.
And Armin had a close second. Armin dropped a lot of beats this year. But when you get into like the EDM space, there's a lot of tracks, a lot of mixes to choose from. And 2023 in general was just a really fire year with a lot of new artists and a lot of new tracks. But Gareth Emery, man.
So let me ask you about that, because when it comes to like the EDM scene with me, I'm mostly just like funky house, deep house, classic house, right? I'm completely out of the loop when it comes to trance and stuff.
Yeah,
like
trance.
Is trance, does it still have that traction, or is it kind of like it's getting harder and harder to kind of find good trance stuff now?
I think 2023 was an exceptional year. I think there's a lot of artists now to choose from, and the trance space has evolved a lot from what you heard in the 90s to the early 2000s has really evolved. Now there's so many sub genres, like, there's vocal trance, then you have your, like there's side trance, there's, dance tracks, and then you have your, I would say each DJ has kind of their own, kind of their own style. So I think the genre is so big now, and it encompasses a lot of different music. It's just kind of evolved that way. For me, like I love the vocal stuff. I love what Armin does. and I still love the old school. Give me some Tiesto, a Dago for strings. Like that's still one of my favorite tracks.
Tiesto's making a comeback, isn't he?
Yeah, Tiesto's been on fire. I feel like 2023 he has made a comeback. He's got a few fire tracks.
Yeah, because he's got this one track that I hear on the radio all day long right now.
Yeah, he's kind of back into the mainstream, but he's, he started kind of following that David Guetta style of music, more dance tracks.
Is he the artist that's going on like his final 1-2 year like his tour thing?
I don't know.
Before he just stops?
No, I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
I know he had a residency in Vegas, right?
Yeah, he did. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he still does because he plays there all the time.
Okay, he probably still has it then.
Yeah.
Speaking of residencies in Vegas, Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah?
Wu-Tang's got a residency in Vegas. I did not have that on my bingo card this year.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
That is hilarious. Shout out to Wu-Tang. It's for the children. Jag, man, what's your track of the year?
So I've been through so much. I actually got into like different genres this year, and I've always been to... I moved away from hip hop for like a year, right? This guy got me into a lot of his, EDM, Tiesto, Gareth Emery stuff. But then this year I wanted to go back, especially, when you're at the gym, I'm always trying to look for new music. And my most played track is a Russian track. It's a Russian rapper, Miyagi and Andy Panda, Cassandra.
Oh,
yeah, because that was
fire track actually.
Yeah, because that was like your on your Wrapped.
Yeah,
that was like your number one track.
So
that's when I checked it out. Yeah, that's when I checked it out.
And like I went through his album. There's a bunch of songs from his playlist, and I got into the that Russian vibe, rapping vibe. There.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Jag throwing Russian rap out was also not on my bingo card.
That was not expected.
That's awesome though, but the track is good though.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
really
remember
good.
listening to that one.
What do you got for us, Sonny?
I got Too Many Nights, Metro Boomin, Don Toliver, and Future.
Oh, fire track.
That Metro Boomin album is album of the year, and today's actually the anniversary, like the first anniversary for the release of the album.
Oh, no way.
And before we get into technicalities, yes, it was December 20th, 2022 that the album came out, but come on.
Yeah,
It's the end of the year. We know it's a 2023 album.
Yeah, it's a 2023 album.
So,
guys drop it at the end of the year.
Yeah, so before I get crucified about it's a 2022 album, like no, it's a 2023 album.
Yeah.
And
we'll give that a pass.
Yeah, and that album from beginning to end was just, it's been a really long time since a compilation album has been that good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember back in the day, like in high school when they used to do like Violator and Funkmaster Flex used to do like his thing.
Yeah, the guys
like,
don't do that anymore.
Yeah. But Metro Boomin, this guy is on some god tier level production right now, and that track was the one that I killed from that album.
Was that your top played on Spotify?
No,
What was your top played on
my
Spotify?
top played song was actually a track from 2021. It's Both of Us by Jada G.
No, I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, it's more like the funky house, deep house kind of thing.
I'll check it out.
But that one was my most played. But with the Metro Boomin, that's more of like what I listen to at work all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that didn't really show up on my rap. So it's one of those things. But music's kind of in a strange place. I feel
it
right
really
now.
is. I would totally agree with that. That's why when you asked me that question about just where trance and EDM is, it's just like it's in this place where just there's so many different genres like kind of overlapping each other. Like there's no real constant, and yeah, it is in a weird place.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of people are confusing like being a really big artist with being a very good artist.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
Right, like I don't really feel like there's a correlation between the two.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Taylor Swift is the biggest artist on the planet, right?
Yeah.
But is anything that she actually creates a masterpiece?
I wouldn't say so.
No, right? It's
I
just
wouldn't say
being
so.
big is one. I mean, look what happened.
That's more like a popularity contest, right? Like that's.
But
I'll say like just like Drake too. Like
I
how
was
does he
just gonna
stay?
say,
How does he stay on top? Right?
Yeah.
It's just once
I don't
you're
think-
there.
Did
how do you
Drake
drop
really
off?
drop anything? Like that was.
I mean, For All the Dogs came out, and let's be honest, that thing was like a 4 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah, at best.
Right? Then
At
he
best.
did. Then he did the Scary Hours thing on after that, which was a little better.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But a lot of it's just the
doesn't-
name, right? A lot of it's name.
Yeah.
You have like, you kind of create a pedigree, and then you kind of stay there, even if your music's kind of on a decline.
Yeah, it's kind of like with movies. Like when Marvel was on top, right? They were the
Yeah.
biggest movies, but they weren't really the best movies.
They weren't the best, yeah, and they could get away with mediocre because of
just-
kind of what
Yeah.
they
Just
built up
'cause-
their reputation.
Exactly, the brand is that big.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies,
Let's get to our top movie of the year.
let's
This is an
go.
easy one for me. I didn't have to think twice.
Go.
For me, it was Oppenheimer.
There we go.
I knew
We were
that.
discussing that
Yeah.
I
before.
wasn't even close. Like
You was gonna be
in the
Oppenheimer.
era of, this. You know what? This kind of goes back to something. This will go to something we'll talk about later in the show. But in the era of woke culture and what's that done to Hollywood, to find a movie, a gem, just in the past year, like I was thinking in the last couple of years, like it was so hard for me to pick a movie. I just did like a little test with myself. I was like, okay, let me take out Oppenheimer. What's the other best movie? I couldn't think of one movie that I would have gave us 8 out of 10.
So what was it about Oppenheimer that just kind of made you go, yeah, man, like this is it?
I think for me, it was a really easy choice just because the acting was phenomenal. That it was phenomenal from beginning to end. It's a biography. It's really difficult to do a biography that you are fully engaged for 3 hours. That's really difficult to do, and they managed that. It looked fantastic on the big screen. The tracks, the music. Everybody knows the story, but the way it was told, even the dramatization was kept to a minimum. I didn't feel like of course it's a film, so you're gonna have that, but the characters, they really carried the film. Like the plot was good. Obviously it's a real life story, so it's how you tell it, and I thought they did a really good job.
What's Buddy's name? Cillian Murphy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So Cillian Murphy, like this guy has been with Nolan since the beginning.
Yeah.
But this is the first time where he's gotten the lead role in one of Nolan's flicks, right?
And I feel like, Nolan literally waited. Like this was the role he was waiting for. And he said it. I think he said it a few times leading up to the film. He wanted to make this like 20, 30 years ago. And he was just waiting for the technology to catch up the way he wanted to shoot the film.
Yeah, Nolan's always got like with every film that he makes, he's always got something new that he wants to do with it, and be the first guy to do it.
And I'm being honest, probably in the last 7-8 years, if Nolan came out with a movie that year, it was probably the best movie of the year for me. Like if we just look at his past projects, Inception, what do you do after Interstellar? Like
Interstellar, man, that thing was
like
even,
I
that
still
was a
watch
gem.
that.
Yeah.
Like that's I still watch that constantly.
even Dunkirk was Nolan too, right?
Dunkirk, yeah. Dunkirk doesn't get a lot of play, but that was also a great film.
So did you guys like we're just talking about Nolan and Inception and stuff? Did the theory of Inception, like every scene that oh my gosh, what's that actor's name? He played Alfred in the Dark Knight movies. Anyway,
I just had his name and then you said Alfred. Now Like
anyway, but that actor in an interview, he said that every scene that he's in is the reality.
Is the reality, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll remember how like
Yeah,
at the end of Inception, spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen Inception yet, I'm sorry, but it's
You are doing yourself a
Like-
big wrong by not having watched that film yet.
statutes of limitations has passed on that one.
Yeah.
But you know how like at the end of it, everyone's like, "Oh, did it drop?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're left thinking like,
Yeah.
"Is it the dream or not?" Now we know. No,
Yeah.
that was the reality
Mhm.
because he was in that.
When
scene.
I saw it, I assumed it was the reality. But it's such a great cliffhanger.
yeah,
Makes you
Jag.
really think.
Yeah, let's go, Jag. What's your movie of the year, buddy?
After thinking long and hard about this, I have none. There is no movie in the last 2 years. When did the Batman come out?
The Batman
Was that last year?
2022.
That was early 2022.
That was early, right? That was in March, right?
That was like February, March.
So
yeah.
since then, there's not one movie that I have looked forward to. And then the one movie that I did look forward to, which one was it? It was
it Marvel or DC?
it was Marvel. It's a movie.
Marvel movie? Man, they become so non-relevant. Oh, the third.
There was one.
Guardians
It
of
was
the-
this year.
Guardians?
Oh, Guardians.
Guardians,
Yes.
yeah.
So Guardians, that one, was that this year?
That was this year.
I think that was the earlier. This
That was
year.
it then.
Yeah.
Then that was it. That was the only movie that I looked forward to going to watch. And my expectations were low because everyone hypes up like the first Guardians, right? To me, it was a good film, right? It wasn't, people have it on their top 5 list. To me, it was just a good film, right?
Yeah. Okay. If you have a Marvel movie in your top 5 of all time movies, like.
No, I think he's saying top 5 Marvel movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I mean,
fair.
right?
Okay.
But for me, that was the best one. And that was probably the best movie they've done since Endgame.
Okay.
So are
Yeah.
you saying that the first one, or are you talking now?
The
about
third one. The third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better than the first, better than the second. The third one was it for me.
That's interesting because I do love the story for Raccoon. What's his name?
Raccoon. Rocket.
Rocket.
Rocket. Sorry.
He is a raccoon.
There he was just there were so many raccoons in the film. My bad on that. But the way they kind of butchered and just, I won't use the P word. Some of you can guess what I want to say, that they made Adam Warlock into. I wasn't too fond of that. And that was just,
Just the whole woke Disney path that they've been on, that they've been kind of shoving down our throats. It's kind of made it hard to watch. But yeah, Rocket's story I thought was fantastic, and that was a great way to kind of end the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I still have not seen that movie.
Are you serious?
I haven't seen it yet.
I did not.
It's worth
that's
watching.
something I didn't expect. That was not my bingo card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unexpected, but we'll definitely watch that.
That is definitely a thing that I need to do before this year is over. I need to watch Guardians, but I'm pretty sure something had distracted me. I don't know if it was a show or something.
Oh, we gotta dedicate a segment in the future episode once you watch this movie.
Yeah. Then we'll go through it. I have not seen Guardians yet.
How about you?
Mine's is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that was my second. That's
That's
actually my
alright.
second place.
See, I was thinking of that first, but then I'm just like, you know what? The only reason I really wanted to watch that was like it just got hyped up so much, right? And I'm just like, I just couldn't anymore, right? Now I'm just like, how do I sit down? I gotta watch the first one still. And then it's just
I
haven't watched the first
You
one.
gotta check out
Jack,
the first
what are
one.
you
right?
doing?
It's an awesome film. It's a fun
I
ride.
wanted that was on my bucket list too. That it was one of the movies I want to watch. Right? It was just so hyped, and then it's just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've seen too much Spider-Man. I don't know. Maybe I'm spidered out.
This
But-
one, the hype for it was justified just because of how good the first one was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched this second one, again, I went in bar sky high,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
This movie leapfrogged that bar.
Yeah.
This was,
I actually
haven't-
liked it better than the first.
Yeah, like I haven't felt this
Mhm.
way of a movie getting better and better than I felt like with Lord of the Rings. Right?
Damn.
Where the first one was great,
Yeah.
the second one was even better, and the third one was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? The first Spider-Verse movie was like, wow,
Yeah.
how are they going to top this one? The second one, you're just sitting in that theater, and
Mind blown.
I've never had an animated movie get me like emotionally a couple of
Yeah.
times. This one, like outside of Lion King and the whole betrayal scene and
Mm-hmm.
Mufasa dying and stuff,
Yeah.
Classic.
right? But this one, it did everything. It made me laugh out loud. It had me like freaking out. It had me almost tearing up,
Yeah.
right? And
I can already
Man,
guess the scenes.
I don't want to mention it because he hasn't seen it.
So it gets
So-
you invested. You're saying the movie gets you invested,
It
and you're
does,
all
man.
in.
It's
Yeah.
honestly a really fun ride. Like throughout from beginning
So-
to end. You're
Yeah.
totally engaged in the film.
Is the first one like that as well?
It is because this is Miles Morales' story,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And he's not the most popular Spider-Man because everyone knows Peter Parker,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Peter does play a really big part in this story.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Right?
this is not
Okay.
this is not a spoiler, right? It is about the multiverse.
Yeah.
So all these different Spider-Man, like they all just add something different to the film.
Yeah,
Okay.
but when you watch the first one, you'll understand like where they're going with it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then the second one happens, and your brains are just all over the wall.
All
You're
right,
just like,
that'll be on my bucket list for this holidays, and then we'll discuss it.
yeah, and man, that animation style that they did again for
Yeah.
this second one.
I think they hit something with the
And
anime.
they said in
animation
different
style.
theaters it was a little bit different, right?
So there was 5 different versions of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? I forgot which scene in particular was the one that's different, but there's like 3 lines that are different.
Oh, okay.
So every theater got different versions of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it doesn't really change
Yeah.
the narrative too much, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
certain things that characters said are different in the different
Okay,
versions.
okay.
But if you go like, keep an eye out in this once you watch the first one, because you've watched it, right?
Yeah.
The way that they animated Miles in the first one, right? His frames per second is lower than the rest of the movie. That
Mhm.
was done deliberately because he's still learning to be Spider-Man.
Oh.
So the more the
Yeah.
movie goes into it and the better and better he gets, his animation gets smoother and
That is
smoother and
smoother.
smoother.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Which I thought was so cool.
That is
right?
that sounds awesome.
That attention to detail.
There's a lot of different things. There's a whole
Yeah.
forgot who put it together. It's a YouTube channel that does breakdowns of films, and they have a breakdown of all the little details that they put in the effort into the first one, and then how they went above and beyond for the second one. I'll find it. I'll link it
Yeah.
in our video.
I was never a big fan of like Gwen Stacy
Yeah.
either,
Really?
but there's something but these movies have made me like finally care about her.
I always did, just because of the original TV show, and it was too bad that they could never get her done right. And yeah, I'm glad that they kind of make
Yeah.
you want to,
Like,
cheer for her.
I admire that they tried it with the Garfield, like the Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies, and that scene where
The
she
scene was,
falls. I was like, okay, yeah, this
but
sucks.
honestly,
Right.
that scene was pretty well done. Like, there was a lot of other issues with the whole Garfield Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse for Garfield that it's like it took away from such an impactful and big moment in the Spider-Verse. But I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, that movie, man. Like I'm just running back through it in my head right now. I just can't, how much fun I had watching that one. Across the
That
Spider-Verse.
was my
People,
guess.
yeah, people,
I
you
ha-
need to watch that one.
I knew that was going to be your number one. That was a close second for me.
I mean,
All right.
it came down between that
Yeah.
and Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros was such a great watch.
It's a
too.
quick, fun ride.
Yeah.
But for me,
Yeah,
it's hard
that
to put
was
a
a fun
film
movie.
like that
Yeah.
in, like, compare that to, like, Oppenheimer. It's too much of a disparity from, like, what I'm looking in from film and to, something that's, like, more fun.
I think like me and Jag were talking earlier about it. I think with Oppenheimer, the reason I didn't have much urgency to watch it was because like I already know the story,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's cool. Like I know of Oppenheimer, I know what happens, whatever. Ooh, Super Mario Bros. Right? Then it's like, oh, I want to go watch Oppenheimer again.
They all
Across
came around the
Spider-Verse,
same time,
right? It's
yeah.
like,
yeah.
wow. And I still haven't seen Barbie, and I heard Barbie's really cool. Has anybody seen Barbie?
I've not.
have not.
I can't get myself to watch it.
I don't know. I'm hearing fantastic things about this one.
You let me know. You guys let me know how it is.
I think I'm gonna watch Barbie this
Yeah,
Christmas.
you guys let me know.
I
We'll
got a
definitely
long
do
bucket
it.
list already. That's got to go at the end. I got to
And
go watch
you guys got
Spider-Man,
end of January.
Oppenheimer.
We're gonna do a movie review of the movies we've missed in 2023, and we're gonna do a quick review
All right.
and talk about it.
I am doing Barbenheimer. I'm gonna do Barbie and Oppenheimer in the same day.
All right, I love it.
All right, so I'm
All right.
I'm on-
We're gonna
I'm
do
doing
the Spider-Verse,
the
both 1 and 2.
Spider-Verse 1 and 2, and then Oppenheimer.
all right.
And you gotta add Guardians.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
You guys got some
Barbenheimer.
movies to watch. I guess I watched too many movies.
Well, I mean, shows kind of took over more of my screen time.
Yeah.
this year.
You know what? That's fair.
So, and on that, let's talk about the show
It's a
that
good-
you
it's a
went
good
crazy for
s-
this year.
That's a good segue because I had a really hard time picking a show. I'll name a few. Right now, I know you guys haven't checked it out yet, but Monarch has really got me engaged. It's done well. It's obviously still, I don't even know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's about 6 episodes in. But I went with a show. Do you guys want to guess what I would have picked?
For you,
The Last of Us.
Star Wars.
It wasn't Star Wars. It's really, for me.
I would have said Ahsoka. That would have been my second guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my top 5. They were in my top 5. So Ashoka I thought was done really well because I had such low expectations. And what was the other one you had mentioned?
Last of Us.
Last of Us. Yeah, Last of Us was fun, but I felt like there was a lot left on the table. I wanted more. So it was kind of me as I was watching it, like I was just waiting for stuff to happen. Like it was fun, but I wanted more. And I didn't feel like, I could add that in my top, even in my top 3. But yeah, you know what I went with? I went with One Piece.
Buddy, me too.
Okay.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know
All
what?
right.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm saying this because, so the reason I chose it was I'm probably the biggest critic when it comes to any anime translation or video game translation into a movie or a TV show. And I had 0 expectations, like not even 0. I was 6 feet under on my expectations of how bad this show was going to be.
The way that you guys were going at me in the group chat,
Yeah.
me being the only one excited about this show, and then
I'm walking back on it right now. I trashed this show from the minute I saw the first image. When it was announced, I said, don't even try it. And what we got I was quite impressed and surprised. So I gave it the number 1 spot because I know how hard it is to do something like that, especially something that's the biggest, manga and anime in the world. It's, 20 years. It's just to break all that down. I know it's 10 episodes, but what they were able to do and the changes they made, I thought, for the new viewer, I thought was really well done.
yeah, I really give them credit for taking 200 episodes
Yeah.
and putting them into like 8 or 9 or whatever it was, and staying really faithful to the source material,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, the little changes that they made for TV, because you have to make changes for TV. You can't always just go one for one
Exactly,
off the page of the manga, right? But the way the show was structured and the pacing of it, you didn't feel like it was dragging at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it was done. It was put together so well.
And the way like the anime introduced like all the characters, they had like 15, 20 episode arcs
Yeah.
just about it. But the way they did it in one episode,
Yeah.
right, where each person got their one episode, you're like, this, yes, right? Now that they've been renewed for a second season, Netflix is going to give them a blank check. And those visuals,
obviously this brought in a lot of money
yeah,
for Netflix because they realized how popular this show is worldwide. This is 100+ countries. Like I don't know how many languages it's translated into. So
yeah. All things considered, like even though they weren't sure about this first season, it still visually was stunning.
yeah, it was.
It's so hard to take that world. Like it's kind of like when the news came out that Lord of the Rings was going to become a movie, right? The first thing you're thinking is like, how are they going to do that?
Yeah, how are they going to take this fantasy world and put that on the screen where it's believable?
Yeah.
Where we feel like these characters are real.
Like up until a certain point, the Lord of the Rings books were the unfilmable books.
yeah.
Like the people
I
were saying
remember
you
that,
could never
yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Peter Jackson comes along and they nailed it. Right? Same thing with One Piece. Like, how can you do a live action for something
But,
that's this outrageous?
You know what? I got to give him credit because Oda was a big part. And, if you guys don't know, he's the creator of One Piece. And he was, he approved every step along the way. And I think that's a big factor in why, he agreed to those changes that they had to make. And yeah, I'm gonna agree with what you just said. Like, it's to take a world that, you know, you can draw and you can kind of imagine being a toddler and you're creating this imaginary world where all these things are reality, and you're able to do that with a minimal budget of what Netflix had probably given them.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. And the fact, and you know what, it's a great comparison to Lord of the Rings because they used a lot of makeup and actual props.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, like, as you know, they minimized CGI as much as they could and used it where it was necessary.
Yeah, that's what One Piece did with the fishmen. Like, that was all prosthetics. Like, nothing about the fishmen was CGI.
And look,
right?
if I had a gripe with it, I wasn't a big fan of how they looked, but you could see the effort was there. It didn't look fake. It wasn't like, oh, it's CGI, you know, and a lot of that is missing. So for that and a lot of other reasons, like, it was easily my number one.
But now you kind of have that, you're excited and you're like, it's in good hands. But now for the people who watch the actual anime and you know where this story is headed,
yeah,
now it's like those same concerns are coming back up. Like, how are they going to do that?
Yeah. And still, it only gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
As, like, remember guys, this is a 20-year, the series has been going on for 20 years. I think their 25th anniversary is coming up or something.
Yeah.
I think next year. But like, there's a long way to go, and the effects and the story and the characters just become more unbelievable. The world building required is, I don't know how they're going to pull it off.
That casting, they nailed it.
They did. As much as I was not a fan of the Luffy casting, I think it's, you know, it's something like I could get by just because the other characters were so strong. Like, I didn't have an issue with any other character.
The guy that plays Zoro nailed it.
Zoro nailed it, and so did
even
Mihawk.
Mihawk
looked fantastic.
My God, that introduction scene of Mihawk when he's on the beach,
Yeah.
just destroying all these pirates and just explosions behind him, his ship sinking. I was like, what am I watching right now?
Yeah,
Right?
that was good.
I couldn't believe it. I my jaw was on the ground.
Same. And also when Zoro, you know, spoiler alert, you know, it kills a couple guys and there's blood all over, and I'm like, oh, this show is taking it serious.
Yeah.
Like, this is not some PG.
When he sliced Buddy in half?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I didn't think they were gonna go gory.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I had zero expectations. So, you know what? It was really well done.
Honestly, I can talk about this all night, but Jag, he's just sitting there, nodding his head.
So the reason I didn't want to get, you guys did like such a good job like promoting it, right? And like I haven't watched it. I've only seen clips, right? But you said you were the hardest critic. I am the hardest critic, right, on these things, because I need to believe you're that character, right? So if I'm reading something and then you're putting it like, you know, into a movie, I have to believe the character that I read about is that same character, right? And I just cannot get over that fact. That's why, like, even I'll watch when I watch anime, I'll do Japanese subbed, right? I won't do dubbed ever, because I'm just like, they can't get the same emotion, right?
Yeah,
they can't do the same lines.
You feel disconnected from it.
Right? So if I can't, so for movies, if I can't like believe the character, or even for shows, then I can't get into it. But you guys did such a good job. Like I'll probably go watch now a couple of episodes.
You know but what you just said was a genuine concern that I had too, right? Where I'm like, I've set myself up for disappointment because I was so pumped for this.
Yeah.
And then after the first episode, everybody's just like corny and cheesy, and I'm just like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
But that didn't happen because
I think I watched it in literally 2 days.
yeah, like all the actors that played it, they actually watched the show, so they understand what they're getting into.
I'll watch
Right?
1-2 episodes.
Look, there was a lot of care taken into this, but like, Jack, ultimately what you said about like the character on the page and that on film, right, on TV, like there's obviously going to be some disconnects, right? I think you have to kind of watch them separately, because that's something I had to do, because like the manga is the manga. You're talking about 1,100 plus chapters now where you've told this story, you've created these characters, and to translate them into TV or movies is hard.
Yeah, this goes back to a discussion that we had way early, perfectly, when we're trying to convince this guy to watch YouTube boxing.
Yep.
Remember when it's like you need to disconnect from what you're watching
it's
and
not
what it
real
actually
boxing.
is,
It's
right?
like,
It's kind of like this. Like when you're watching this live action show, you need to disconnect yourself from the manga. You need to disconnect yourself from the anime and just be like, I'm watching a brand new show. I understand there's a stigma that people are always afraid because look how bad, what was it, Cowboy Bebop was.
Yeah,
That thing was
really
atrocious,
bad.
right?
And in general, everything before One Piece has been really bad.
Yeah, like Kenshin,
Right?
all those.
Yeah, it
like
was
I just
horrible.
Yeah, like they're to adapt something.
You guys remember Dragon Ball Z or whatever that movie?
That movie was awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh my god. Okay.
It was so bad. It was good.
I'm gonna let that one go. I'm gonna let that one
You
go.
know what I mean by that with the Dragon Ball movie is, do you remember the original Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yeah,
Like,
I do.
Yeah.
It was so bad, but you're like, this shit's awesome.
Okay, but
you know what? That one I did.
movie, like,
Yeah, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I kinda like that too.
But you get what I'm saying though, right? Like,
Okay.
Like Van Damme is Guile.
Yeah.
Right? And Raul Julia's Bison. Like, what am I even watching right now?
All right. Fair enough.
Right? But honorable mention, again, it came down to two, like, but for me, like One Piece and The Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us, yeah.
Right? Last of Us, they literally went 1-for-1 from the game.
Oh yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
if you've played the game, then you're already invested in knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like with this second season, I hope they don't go right into the second game. I hope you do like a bridge story in between.
I think they have to.
Okay.
Like
Right.
I hope they
Makes
don't
sense,
assume
yeah.
that it's only the people that have played the game are watching, because I think it's important to bridge. Like, it's gonna feel incomplete if they just went into the second game.
Yeah, because I'm like, even though you kind of have an idea what happened in between the two games, I'm really interested to give me more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, for people who haven't played the game, you don't care. You're just like, just give me season 2.
Yep.
Right? But me personally, I want to see them, go into what led into the events of the second game.
There's not been an announcement yet, right, on release timing?
I have no
Because
idea.
there's been some time, right? So
And dude, I don't know why, but this just hit me in the head. I can't believe I totally forgot about this show. Was this last year? Was it this year or last year? House of the Dragon. That was 2022, right?
House of the Dragon, I want to say it was 2022. was it
Okay,
not?
because I just remembered that's starting in the spring.
season 2's coming out now.
So-
because the trailer just came out. So
Okay,
yeah, it must have been
2022. But man, House of the Dragon, that is redeeming Game of Thrones.
It is. I think it's redeeming it just because how bad it ended. That's partially the reason.
One thing about House of the Dragon that I was really afraid of, that it was going to try too hard to be Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't. It's got its own identity, and I am on board with this thing.
I'm looking forward to season 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Have
you watched?
I haven't watched it.
Oh,
But I wasn't into Game of Thrones.
Yeah. This.
oh no. Okay. That's fine.
I was
Yeah.
into Game of Thrones, so that's why I didn't forget that.
Yeah,
So Jag, what's
But
yours?
next year's show of the year will be The Boys. But for this year,
Oh,
Yes.
like he just teased us there.
that will
the
be it.
boys.
Who saw the trailer? Sorry,
I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Let's go.
that's hype. That's probably the most
Yeah.
anticipated drop of 2024.
That
right
will
now.
be it. But this year I just got to go with Loki. That's one of the only shows that I still look forward to. His character, him and Mobius just make it for me, right? It's just I could have watched them
have
all
we all
day.
watched it now?
I have not finished it yet.
You haven't
I'm
finished
on
it?
the last episode.
Oh, you're on the last episode, but you
But-
know where
but-
it's going.
But we won't even get into that. I just want to say, like, it's fun. He's the one of the last characters I actually care about in the.
Personally, he's the only character left that I genuinely care about in the Marvel universe.
Exactly. And then, but I'm telling you right now, they could just do a show with him and Mobius and I'd watch it. That relationship is just too funny.
Yeah, their chemistry is on point.
Yeah.
When you have actors that they just click together and you have that
Yeah.
chemistry, like it just makes it more fun to watch. Like when we watch like the Ocean's 11 movies,
Yeah.
like that
whole cast,
that
right?
whole
Everybody
cast,
just has
man.
chemistry. They're having fun,
Yeah.
going back. You believe it.
Yeah, you're so invested because you literally believe these guys are all buddies.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what?
And the way they play off each other and the one-liners and the zingers that they have.
A little bit away from it. You know what? Fast and Furious was that at one point. right? For the first couple movies.
Before family took over.
Yeah.
Family
But-
took it over. Is Jason Momoa their brother yet?
I think so. He was a lost cause. He was the son of the original.
The son of the guy that they stole from. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
they stole from in like the fourth movie or something.
I don't know. To be honest, I stopped watching after like 7, I think. I'm just
Every movie just introduces a new brother or sister.
Yeah. But to Jack's point, man, when you have these actors who can have that chemistry between the two
Yeah.
characters, it just makes it more fun to watch.
That's what makes it for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I think that's what made Game of Thrones so good for the first 6 seasons, right? Because you literally believe that these people are like in this world and they're all
But that
freaking out about
But that
this one
also
thing, right?
takes
Yeah.
us back to what we started before, like Lord of the Rings, these movies and shows that used actual sets, that that didn't just use the green screen for everything. Like nowadays, everything is just lazy, right? There's so much care taken into trying to create these worlds. That's why they were so believable.
Yeah, that's what Critical Drinker was talking about on the last video that he put up, where he was talking about
Yeah.
the Lord of the Rings trilogy
Yeah.
being like the movie to like define our generation.
Yeah.
Which when he made that point, I never really gave it that much thought, because I'm like, he's right. Like us kids who grew up in the 90s, we didn't really have a franchise to be like,
No.
that's ours,
Yeah.
right? Because
They were all pre-existing from the 70s and 80s.
yeah.
What about The Matrix?
But was
The Matrix for me is my number one all-time trilogy. Lord of the Rings is right up there. It's 1A, 1B. But for me, is always going to be The Matrix, just because how well that
I feel like we
describes-
have The Matrix, right?
it has to be. I mean, there's so many things that are just happening.
Yeah.
We
When-
literally live within the Matrix. Like that movie hit on so many things that it foretold in the next, since its inception to now, it's insane.
Yeah, except for the last one. Thanks for ruining it, bro. Sorry.
Yeah,
sis.
we don't
Oh,
call
we
number
don't
four.
count
Yeah,
number
we
4.
don't count
I
number
didn't
four.
even,
Yeah.
like I didn't even entertain the idea of watching it because I'm just like
what is it? Gen X or Gen Z? Who is responsible for number 4? Whatever
know.
generation is, you guys can own number 4.
Yeah, that's yours.
Yeah, that's yours.
So speaking of like being in the Matrix and stuff happening and whatever, this year had a lot of wild news stories, a lot of crazy news stories, a lot of stuff did happen this year. What was the one thing that happened this year that you're taking away from and be like, man, that was huge? Well, actually, Jack.
Yeah, let's start on that end.
Yeah, we'll start with Jack this time.
to be honest, like when I was going over this, it's just there's too much depressing news this year in the news. Like I got nothing.
That's fair.
It's
That's
just it's been one of those years where
I had the same attitude when we came up with this question, when I was thinking about it, and I'm like,
it's
man, it's a sad year.
whenever like that's why I always say like everyone's always, whenever they're talking about the news, it's always like posting this like, and it's all just negative, and I'm just like I can't go through my entire day and like just listen to this guy's opinion, everyone fighting each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's
That news cycle can be vicious, man. Not good for the mental health, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, it's just there wasn't one story where I could just stand on and be like, okay, this is like positive, so
Okay, you guys want to come to me? So
Yeah,
so
what
I
do you
kind
got?
of wrote it down here. It wasn't really a story. It's just kind of what I saw happen this year. And aside from, Elon,
Kind of showing up as kind of the messiah we didn't know we needed. That's been a fun story this year. And, we all know the ups and downs of Elon, X, Twitter becoming X. Him, who would have thought he would have been standing up, taking down mainstream media. But the de facto story for me this year was kind of the woke narrative being, no, I wouldn't say taken down, but stopped in a way, kind of being stopped in his tracks.
with the likes of Tucker Carlson showing up to the mainstream. Now Alex Jones getting unbanned from X. That's been a huge story. Even guys like Andrew Tate. You got the Daily Wire, PBD, the Timcast. You got a lot of alternative media that really came onto the scene with powerful voices. And just as a whole, the things I've seen, we could say, a lot of right-wing talking points, but the left had gotten so extreme. It's so interesting to be in a time where, for someone who grew up watching Alex Jones and, we were just talking about The Matrix and completely believing when I watched that movie, like, yeah, we do live in the Matrix. Like, the government tells us lies. My neighbors, I talk to family members. Nobody knows what's going on. They watch CNN. They tell me what CNN told them. And that's the truth. And it's just, what I took from this year was, like, I never thought we'd come in a moment in our history where, like, the government's talking about UFOs. Alex Jones is mainstream. Like, I feel like I'm living in the Matrix now. I never thought this was possible. And just to really kind of see the extreme left, being taken apart now with all these alternative news sources, and you can get good information and, people standing up, people having courage. We can kind of spin back with all the negative news, like Jag was saying. Like, we can see all, like, there's a lot of people coming together, a lot of high profile names that are now talking about things that we were never allowed to talk to. So that's a little bit of positive news.
So you think just generally people are at a point where they're just like, what, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. And I think a big part of the catalyst was obviously COVID. And I think 2023, like, we can say this was the first year after COVID where everything was kind of back to, pre-COVID, but it woke people up. And I think waking people up, that's kind of shifted the narrative and given power to the other side.
See, the one thing I would say about that is whenever any news story you see, right? Whether you're seeing interviews with people or whether you're reading comments, I feel like you're saying people are coming together and waking up. I feel like people are being more and more disconnected from each other. Right? I feel like everyone's just going at each other. They all believe, you get 5 people and they all believe something different.
But this is a product. This is a product of social media, right? Like Sunny was just saying, like, hey, that news cycle can be dangerous to mental health. Mm-hmm. If we're walking down the street and we're bringing up half these topics and you ask genuinely most people will give you the answer you would least expect. It's not what the media would tell you.
Yeah.
Right? The majority of people would probably agree with common sense. But what you see in the news cycle is never common sense because they don't get clicks.
Yeah. And I think with, like, to Jag's point, why we feel like everyone's just at each other's throat, because that's what's emphasized and that's what's spotlighted every time we look at the news or we're online or whatever. It's like, oh, divisiveness, this and this and that, civil war, whatever, right? Like, it's not really happening. You're just pushing that it's happening.
Ukraine was this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, that was, what, a month? And then that's it? No one talked about it anymore?
Ukraine started in Feb. Yeah, right? That was this year.
And then it was the Israel thing, right? And then, is anyone talking about it now? Right? So I'm just like, everything's just cycling so fast and everyone's just at each other for everything, right? And it's just next thing. I'm just like, enough is enough, So
that's fair. I'll tell you something that happened this year that I thought was huge and didn't get talked about enough.
What was that?
Friggin' UFOs. Our boy.
I knew it. That's why I left the tease in there. I knew that we were going to go there.
Our boy, David Grosh, came out and said, hey, man, there's aliens. Hey, man, we got UFOs. Why is nobody talking about this?
Nobody's talking about it. So it's either... okay. I found it interesting when they did start talking about it because I thought it was just a mechanism to deflect. And yeah, now it's interesting. Like, it's mentioned here and there, a story comes out, but nobody's covering it.
For 70 years. This is the one question that we've always been asking is there something coming here? Is there something out there?
Mm-hmm.
What's in the sky? What is happening? The doors are open to the quest to the answers are about to come out, but like, yeah, there actually is. Yeah, stuff is coming here. Yeah, we have things. Any other year, that news story would have shut the world down.
But do you think it's covered enough? Like, is it why do you think do you think it's because of the other stories?
Sorry, go on.
I think there's two reasons why it hasn't blown up and more people aren't jumping on it. One, I think one group of people, or like, let's say half or whatever, people are saying, why are they coming out with this? Is it a distraction? Is it what? Show us proof, this, that, right? And then the other thing is the other people would say, oh, we already believed it. Now just show us kind of thing, right? And it's either people are like, show us. It's not like a surprise. It can't be a shock thing unless they come out with like a video or like, like a presentation or, some sort of thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying in the sense is like, show me something or whatever. Like, it's just words at this point, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that we have governments are openly talking about it now.
Yeah.
High-ranking militaries finally coming out and talking about it now, right?
But
we've waited so long for this to become like a non-taboo topic of discussion where you're not looked at like a weirdo. Where like if you're at a party,
do you think we're there yet though? Because like guys like Stanton Friedman, God rest his soul, but like he was kind of known as the father of ufology. Like these, like you said, 70 years. They had a whole Stephen Greer put together this whole government of ex-military government officials. They went to Congress in, I think, 92, 93. It forced Clinton to say, hey, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to figure out if, UFOs or if we have crash landed, Area 51. But it would just go away.
Yeah, but even like back then when Clinton was in office, it was just one big joke.
No,
right?
I agree it was a huge joke. But like, I mean, like, there have been officials and, military personnel, like there have been legitimate people that's come out and talked about it. But why is it now? Basically, what's happened is they've acknowledged that it's true. They've acknowledged that, yes, we've retrieved or, there are things. I don't know about the retrieval part, but I know that they have acknowledged that, okay, there are things in the sky that, are unidentified.
I don't know, man. But we need to be paying more attention to this because this is probably the biggest story that
2024
for there to be visibility on it. You got to get guys like Joe Rogan, like the big guys. You got to get them to constantly ask questions and push. That's where
I think Rogan's done a pretty good job.
I think
with talking about it.
Yeah, I think Rogan.
No, he has, but I just mean like if you really want to see movement on that end, I feel like not just him, like he has done it, but I'm like, you really got to poke the bear.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone's got to start poking the bear.
I think when it comes to like the mainstream wanting to talk about it, they're waiting for one guy to say something. It's our boy Neil deGrasse.
That guy's lost a lot of face.
He has.
The things he said about, gender, about, COVID, about a whole bunch of stuff. In the past year, he's lost a lot of face.
But if Buddy comes out and says, hey, man, maybe we should pay attention, everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, Neil.
He's the last guy that's going to come out and say something.
You know who we really need? We need Bill Nye, the science guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. That guy.
The guy who's
not a fan.
When I found out he wasn't a real scientist, it broke my heart.
He always says that to me, right? And I'm just like,
I legitimately thought that this guy had some kind of degree or a master's or something.
Like he basically hoodwinked majority of the population.
Hey, but he was a science guy.
If you ask any kid from the 90s, they probably still think he's a scientist.
There was another show like Bill Nye.
He taught us a lot.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Beekman's World?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Beekman's?
Yeah, Beekman's
Did
World.
that predate? Or is that the same time?
No, Beekman's World started before Bill Nye, but they ran at the same time.
Yeah, because I remember that.
No,
Beekman's World, this guy with like the crazy hair, he had like a green lab coat.
Yeah, I remember that crazy hair.
Maybe if I watch it, I would know.
Yeah, Beekman's
Yeah,
World.
if you saw a picture, you'd probably
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, Beekman's World was awesome. I mean, even like I knew that guy wasn't a scientist, but when you're watching Bill Nye, like this guy is
No,
like,
he sold himself as a scientist.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is, man.
But he does have some good credentials, right? Doesn't he?
Just check out his debates and his appearances on CNN with who's the guy? He passed away now. He used to. Anyways, there's some cringe moments with Bill Nye. That's all I gotta say. You can look it up on YouTube.
Everyone has those.
Yeah, he's like just like another Neil deGrasse.
It's too bad, man. Neil deGrasse came on the scene, really like, bringing excitement to science, to astrophysics and just kind of, space, astronomy, and, what's happened over the last couple of years is really left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I just want him talking about space and nothing else.
Yeah, honestly, stick to space, buddy.
Yeah.
Please.
Like, just tell me how like a black hole is gonna like just destroy them.
And you're great at that. You're
Yeah, no, he is good at explaining that
he's
stuff. Yeah.
absolutely amazing. His television show that he had 2 seasons,
Cosmos.
Amazing. This guy can tell you a story of the universe, make you interested in science. Like, he is so gifted at that. Stick to that.
Even that talk show that he had, Star Talk.
Yeah,
was-
Star Talk.
yeah, Star Talk was
that was
cool
good too.
All right. Enough about Neil deGrasse. Because he's probably going to find this video and explain to us why we're wrong about everything anyway. But, all right, let's get to the last thing, which is what is your biggest sports moment of the
Can't
year?
leave out the sports, boys.
Yeah, because sports has been a big part of the podcast since we started it. And I feel like, talking about what you think the biggest moment of the year was is appropriate.
I'm going to start because I just came up with my moment right now.
Oh, look at this guy.
All right. I have 2 moments.
The
so-
sporting
My
guy.
sports moment of the year was when Brady finally retired.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That was crushing.
Okay.
That didn't even cross my
Yeah.
mind.
I didn't expect that one.
We were so lucky to watch his career, and I was we were like, all of us are such huge fans. Like, that was the biggest moment for me.
Yeah, Brady retiring is legit like an end of an era.
Yeah, it was truly an end of an era.
He retired and he ended the Patriots at the same time. That's actually impressive.
Yeah.
He
No,
destroyed
that was.
them.
He destroyed them.
Yeah.
It was a long time coming. Yeah.
Yeah. But like Cham said, having, being privileged to watch this guy do what he did for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's
I
crazy.
like, if he was 40, then he was 41, 42, then he was like, I'm going to play till I'm 45. It just felt like the guy was never going to retire. And
Yeah.
honestly, until the day he came out with that video, the second retirement, like, I didn't believe it.
For
Yeah.
me, like a guy like him, he had nothing, especially when he won that 7th. I'm like, you have nothing to prove. You've done it all. And I like guys going out on top, because if he went another 5 years of losing record, I'm like, that sticks with you. And then that, I don't like that. So after his 7th, like even how he went out, I'm glad he went out how he went out, because if he went a couple more years and he was winning like 6 games, 5 games,
Yeah.
right, that would really hurt him.
It's crazy. This guy still threw for almost 5,000 yards, had like 40 touchdowns. Like,
And they were all dinged up too, right?
Yeah, and
So-
he crushed that narrative of, he only is what he is because of Belichick.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
looking
Right?
worse
And
and,
then-
worse as
yeah.
history.
And he leaves and he does what he does, and Belichick is in the mud.
It's funny because now the sports media is coming around. All those guys that were Brady haters and were saying 50-50 or
Yeah.
Belichick over
Yeah.
Brady, now they're saying
They've
the
changed their
opposite.
tune.
They're like, we're apologizing to
Yeah.
Brady because
He-
look at
Yeah, he
what's
was
happening.
he was a system quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Come on, give me a break. Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah, but honestly, the reason I just came up to me right now, I had a really hard time. Every team I cheered for, every bet I placed, basically I was on the wrong side of. So it wasn't the greatest sports year for me.
All right. So before we started recording, me and Jack were kind of talking about how we might have the same one. So
Can I guess?
Okay, what?
One of it you guys probably debated was maybe LeBron becoming the all-time scoring leader.
that
Yes.
was mine.
Yes. So my 2 were both LeBron. One was him becoming all-time leading scorer, and then one was their in-season tournament win.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on. You can't give the in-season
I
tournament
can
that much
give it to him,
importance.
all
Come
right?
on.
We'll touch on that because I have some thoughts on it.
Okay.
Right. But LeBron becoming all-time scorer.
That was
Is
that,
huge.
that was huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the reason I guessed it because that was also I was debating between that. That was probably gonna be my pick before Brady.
Yeah, because to do that, how he did it, and for him being at that high level for so long, it's
Yep.
mad
Yeah,
impressive, man.
It is. And it's honestly it's a record. I know we say this a lot, but it looks like it's one that's truly never gonna be broken.
For someone to come into the league, like it really, that's one of the records that really seems unbreakable because someone's got to come in and average like 28 points for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And be healthy.
And no, that's what I mean.
Right.
Like play 20 healthy season, play at that level of 28
Yeah.
points.
It's that Gretzky record,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like for basketball, like that's gonna be that
points,
record
yeah.
that's probably never gonna be touched.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, and for him to do it in like just the fashion, like what is it, that 12-foot like jumper and just like drains it
Yeah.
like whatever, that was great, man. Even guys who for some reason just want to hate on the guy, you can't knock what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's
Right.
it's
At some point you have to be like, all right, this guy is great.
And just like you were saying with Brady, like you got to appreciate what LeBron's doing right
Yeah.
now because he's not gonna he's gonna be playing maybe a couple
he's
more
got
years.
a few more seasons left. Like you
Right?
gotta
So-
appreciate what he's done.
Yeah, you know he's gonna want to push himself to play at least 1 year with Bronny, right? And Bronny's what, 2 years away, 3?
But it's crazy, right? It's just like we were talking
Yeah.
about Brady. Like this guy
Yeah.
looks like he's still a top 5 player.
I
It's
wouldn't
like-
be surprised if Brady in the offseason says, hey, guess what? I'm coming back. I'm gonna be coach quarterback.
Yeah, with the quarterbacks we've seen this year and the injuries we've seen this year, Brady would be a top 10 quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers going down week 1, first minute, first play, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a big one too.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a
one
sign
sucked.
of things to
Yeah.
come.
But
Yeah.
but just to talk about the in-season tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think this thing is getting so much unnecessary heat for no reason, right?
I'll give you that.
Because the Lakers raised the banner for it the other day,
Yeah.
right? That comment section was just like, this is embarrassing. The NBA's dead. No one takes this seriously anymore. This is why the NBA sucks, right? And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, bro, if you're a fan of the Orlando Magic and you know that your team isn't winning anything for 25 years, and you get hot for 5 games in November and you have a chance at winning a trophy, why aren't you going to embrace it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I think this goes back to this whole culture thing in North America. It makes no sense to me the heat it's getting.
North American sports fans
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
the worst because
They are.
why are you getting angry at winning a trophy?
You know what
and
it is?
Have we not complained the regular season means nothing?
No,
Yeah.
but this is the funny thing because when it got to those final couple games, everyone was into it.
Yeah.
Right? I think the heat is from one because LeBron won it and the Lakers won it.
I think you
Right?
got a point there.
I think that's a lot of the heat is coming from there. All those haters,
Maybe.
right? 2, it's they raised the banner, and then people are playing the clip of Kobe saying, "Oh, we only raise championship banners," and the NBA finals, this that. But this wasn't around at that time.
Yeah, but this is the
Right,
championship.
and this is a championship. No, that's what I
yeah.
mean, right? So it's just, I think it's the haters.
I think
right?
Jack hit a big point there. There's
And-
just so much hate and
Like-
that gets clicks.
Like,
right?
imagine if Indiana won it, everyone would be like, "Look, like they're a team that no one expected anything from. Look at Halliburton, like he's an all-star now. He's coming up,
Yeah.
But
right? They're gonna be a playoff team. Just make the playoffs. They have no chance at the championship. They're going in the right direction.
But wow, look
right?
at they
But
got
yeah, like they're gonna celebrate that, banner.
But that was the entire point of having this tournament, is to give a fan base something to look forward to, knowing that they can't do anything else.
But now the problem is,
unless you're Raptors fans.
yeah. But the problem is, I don't want to talk about the
Shambles.
When we were
Let's leave
talking
the
about our
Raptors
trip
out of it.
earlier, I wanted to say, the Leafs lost, the Toronto lost, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a bad trip, right? But I mean, it was a great trip. It was just, those 2 games, unfortunate losses. But It's just because LeBron won it and the Lakers won it, I think that's where the majority of the heat came from. And now, they're just finding any excuse to discredit it.
What if the Lakers winning it does something to other old franchises? So you're the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
You're the Lakers' biggest rival.
Yeah.
The Lakers have the NBA Cup. They have that banner in their arena.
Yeah.
Aren't you gonna go balls out next season to be like, you know what, we want one too now?
Yeah,
Because we don't want to be the only team from that era to not have one, right?
It's gonna. I think as the time goes on, it's
Right?
gonna become more important.
What if you're the Knicks,
Yeah.
one of the oldest teams in the league, and you only have 2 championships? You're telling me an NBA Cup's not gonna mean anything to you guys? You've won nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they need to take a page out of just like how soccer does it. Like, I'm telling you, I think Jag hit the nail on the head. A lot of it just comes from the heat and hate on LeBron. Right?
Yeah.
Naturally,
And the Lakers.
yeah, Lakers, but especially LeBron.
Yeah.
If it was anyone else, people would be celebrating. Literally, these games were must-watch TV. They had playoff atmosphere. You're telling me you don't want that in the regular season?
And then people say, "Oh, these games don't matter." The games all matter except the final one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything
So-
still matters.
Yeah, so exactly. You want a meaningless game on a Tuesday, or do you want an
Yeah.
in-season tournament game?
Yeah.
That's your choice.
I will say this though, we're in a weird place in the NBA where there seems to be some sort of parity, right? But in the next maybe 2 years, it's gonna go back to one team in the West, one team in the East. And then,
Yeah,
the
and then you're gonna
NBA
be-
Cup is going to be the same thing as the NBA Finals.
You think so?
I think so, because it's going to be one of those teams winning it and then one of those teams winning the finals.
I think in one and dones, it's harder to do.
What if you push the NBA Cup to the second half of the season when, guys start load managing,
you know
and
what?
you- and you
That's a great idea.
right? And you open it up more.
But then
No,
what people
honestly,
would say
I think
is,
it's in a good
Right.
spot. Like, guys, nobody's watching the NBA and the NHL when NFL's going on.
and the
NFL's
thing
got a
is, it's-
monopoly. We're all watching till the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No one tunes into these leagues until the second half when it's
No, but the
gearing up
first
for
half
playoff
of the
time.
season is what struggles the most,
Yeah.
because you already have that playoff race, in
Yeah.
the second half.
You don't need that,
right?
Yeah,
In the
later
first half is when they need that extra viewership,
Fair
right?
enough. I'm just saying, just give this thing a chance. It's going to get good. People are going to start caring. You just need to give it time.
on. Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
telling
give
you,
it time.
People will care if their team is in it,
Yeah.
or if there's a team that they can cheer for,
Yeah.
right? I'm telling you, Indiana was that team that people were cheering for, or even like Golden State or anyone, right? But because LeBron won it,
There's a
it's
big
all
part of
hate,
that,
right?
man.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
there's
you right now, if Boston won it, the media would go crazy. Like they would be
would've
like,
loved
look,
it.
yeah, they would be like, look, they're gonna win a championship this year. This, that. They would have overhyped it, right?
Yeah.
Even though they've been flopping, right, in the playoffs, it's just
Yeah.
that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Just give it some time, man.
It's all a narrative.
I'm on board with this thing. I like it. The games were fun to watch,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Because you knew there was that underlying thing in the back of every guy's mind. Like, this is still like a trophy that we could win.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But if there is one thing I would change is don't do those courts anymore. Those courts
for the love
were
of God.
absolutely hideous,
I
and I can't stand
I was
it.
gonna bring that up. I'm like, the first couple of games I watched for the tournament, I'm like, I wasn't into it because of the courts.
Yeah,
And then after, I'm just, I got over
you
it.
got used to it a
And
little
then-
bit, right? Because it was just you had to deal with
Like
it.
on TNT, I heard Chuck say he liked the courts. I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe he was just joking, but I'm like, please, like, change the
Yeah.
courts.
From what I read, they're like, people are saying that when you're in the arena, it's not as bad as it is on TV.
A couple
Right?
of them were decent, but some colors just
No, that
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls
it's
one,
hard to
man.
watch.
That was a Chicago Bulls that had the all red. It looked like I'm watching like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All red, or even like, I don't like the all yellow and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just not the same.
Yeah, NBA Cup, man. Give it a chance. It's fine. It's gonna be okay. It's okay when your team wins it, right? You know
Yeah.
what team needs that thing really bad? The Pistons. But we'll talk about those guys on another episode. But whatever.
The
Right?
Pistons.
Yeah. So let's
I think that wraps our categories. Do we have any others?
I mean, we've wrapped up everything that we had for 2023. We gave you guys our thoughts on it. So let's just the biggest WTF moment.
Oh,
You know what? We'll save that one.
let's save that.
Yeah, we'll save that one. I mean, the only thing we got left is like, what are you looking forward to in 2024? What's your prediction for 2024?
Okay, I'll give you two answers. So one, since we were just talking about sports, looking forward to 2024. I want to say I'm looking forward to see if the Leafs can do something, but that's, I'm probably getting made fun of in the comments. I'll just leave that one out. I'll leave the Leafs alone. You know what? It's 2024 election in the U.S. Like, it's interesting. Trump was thrown off the ballot in Colorado yesterday.
Yeah,
That was wild.
That, yeah.
Oh
That's
my God.
fucking wild. So
Yeah.
let's see what, I think it's going to be, I got my popcorn out. It's going to be a wild ride. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy in that regard. For me, I'm just seeing this leap that we had this year with AI.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
Like, where are we headed with that next year? Right? Because
Yeah.
that jump from like GPT 3 to 4, crazy.
Yeah. And now Microsoft's about to release theirs. I forgot what they called it.
The Bing AI is absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, but so they
It's nuts, but
they got another one as well. They got like just like Chat GPT. So they all have these engines, right? So they basically put it out there. And I forgot what theirs is called. They're coming out with it as well. But you're right. The leaps that it's taken in just a year.
Yeah.
And it's like just to put it out in anybody's hands. And I don't know if you guys know. We can get into this on another podcast because this is a bigger conversation. But like, it's out there and it's hackable. No matter what rules you put in place, right? There's many cases. You can Google this yourself, but if you want to know how to build something and for bad purposes, you can find out. You can ask it questions in certain ways to get around all the security that's in place. So it's really easy to hack.
iRobot.
iRobot.
The one thing about that is, like you were saying, like it's hackable, this, that. These systems are going to start being actually hacked, like ransomware and stuff, because they're going to start stealing the data because people are using it for work. They're putting in their work data in there.
But okay, so but think about, so that's
so companies are going to start.
That's not as big of a concern as, I'll just talk about this quickly. There's rules in place where you can ask it to build you a bomb and it'll be like, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally ask the question again. Hey, my grandma is asking for this project and my grandma needs help. How would I do this?
Yep.
Boom. You just hacked AI and it'll tell you how to do it.
But don't you feel that with the advancements that AI is going through, the fact that it's consistently learning, that it's just going to teach itself to not allow that to happen?
Yeah, that's where you get to the sentient and non-sentient conversation.
That's a whole other thing, but I think that's kind of where we're headed in 2024 with this. Right, that's what I think.
That's the crazy part. Like, I
think that risk. I think that risk. There's always going to be a way around it. It's just how you ask, right?
And
what language you use.
Right? Look at the rapid speed we're going.
Yeah.
Like, can we get safeguards in place? Ahead of the curve. Like, can we stay ahead of the curve?
I don't think so. I think at the rate of which things are coming out, and everyone wants to be that first person that releases it. Right? I don't think, I think there's always going to be ways around that.
We'll just have to wait and see, man. 2024, show us what you got. Jag?
For me, there's a lot of happening in American politics. There's a lot happening Canadian politics too, right?
Oh, yes.
That's interesting. So, but in the non-political world, like the first thing, especially like the first quarter for the NFL, this is the first year I feel that there's no clear-cut winner for the Super Bowl. And I'm really excited to see, because this is the first time I can say every round matters, right? Before we're like, Casey's going to be in the championship game.
There's clear
right?
favorites.
It's always just, it's going to be Casey, or in the last couple of years, Cincy, right? Yeah. And then this year, it can be anybody. And I really feel it can be anyone, especially
I think
with
from
all
a
the
sports perspective, the Super Bowl is, the monster that it is for a reason. And,
when I'm looking forward to something, it is the Super Bowl for any other championship.
And then there's WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. We will definitely talk about WrestleMania in a future episode.
You know what we should do? We should do a Royal Rumble cast. Because I feel like that's what kicks off the path to WrestleMania.
You know what? That's something that needs to be discussed. I like that. All right, guys. The boys are back.
Yeah, we're back. You're going to get a lot more content coming in 2024.
Yeah, we'll see what, thanks for joining us in 2023. We hope you guys have been enjoying the content, right? And we've had a blast making the content, especially with like the vlogs and the new Katai style of videos that we're doing. We'll have a lot more of that coming in the new year. Mm-hmm. And just more belligerent couch talk, man, because that's where it all started.
That's where it starts.
And that's where we're going to keep it going.
Yep.
Again, let us know what your guys' 2023 faves and winners and all that was. Let us know. What movie did we miss? What show did we miss? What song? Right?
So what's your WTF moment of the year?
Yeah, what's your WTF moment? We'll let you guys know ours afterwards. But appreciate it. All right. Like, share, subscribe, get the word out. We're going to have to make 2024 belligerent. All right. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace out.